Hello babes, welcome back to my channel. It's 2026 officially. Today is January 1st and the first thing I wanted to do was film a video. I have a whole lot of goals for this year, for reading, for YouTube, for personal life, for everything. I have so many goals. I have a stack of 26 books that I want to read in 2026. I feel like there's a good amount of variety in this pile, but I could be wrong. Another thing I wanted to do was only pick books that I have on my shelf, like physical books that I have. So you might see some series in here, and I only have like 1 or 2 books from the series, but there's still like multiple more books in the series. That's just because these 26 books we're talking about today, are the books that I have on my shelf currently. Nothing that I'm like, oh, I need to go out and buy it. It's all books that I have currently on my physical TBR. And obviously, I'm gonna acquire more books in 2026. That's just gonna happen. But these are what I currently have, and books that I am currently just looking at and kind of want to get into. I don't even think we ever do a today's drink, but my drink is a venti iced chai. Gingerbread chai. Venti iced gingerbread chai. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're going to talk about my goals and the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. This is my first TBR video of the year. My first video of the year as well. So I'm hoping that this goes well. But before we talk about the books, let's go over my reading goals for the year. I have a couple. They're not set down in stone at the moment, but these are kind of like my aspirations, what I want for this year. Also, ignore the fact that I don't have 2 nails. I put my nails on last night, and then I immediately took these 2 off because my thumb popped off, and then for some reason this nail was like absolutely painful. So I just like popped it off. I have to fix them, but I don't have them with me. They're in the car. But my goals for 2026 reading wise, I really want to focus on reading new books, new authors. I want to expand my reading palette essentially. And I did that a little bit during 2025, but I was really struggling because I feel like I didn't go about it the right way. I would pick up books from different genres and I would just read them, but I wasn't in the mood for them. So I feel like I need to go based on my mood and not just dive headfirst into something that I probably won't like at the moment. Because I'm definitely a mood reader, and the time and place is very important when it comes to reading for me. So I want to make sure that I am intentionally reading as well. So if I'm not in the mood for a mystery or something like a specific genre, then I'm not going to pick up that book, because I want to be able to enjoy the book to the full extent that I could. Another goal of mine, I have 2 reading goals. So I want to read a total of 60 books this year. That was my goal for last year. I think I only read 30, either 30 or 40 between there, which is not ideal for me. Like, I really enjoy reading, but 2025 was just not a reading year. I don't know why. I just could not read that much. But I want to read a total of 60 books. On top of that, my goal for the week, I have like weekly reading goals. I want to read at least 2 books a week. So if you do the math, it would come out to more than 60 books. It makes sense in my brain, but it also doesn't because the numbers don't match up. But I'm also not like strictly implementing the 2 books per week, because if there's one book that I read in that week and it's like huge, like if I read like an 800-page book in 1 week, that's fine. That's 1 book for the week. But if I read 2 smaller books, or if I'm just really having a really good reading week, that's fine. But my goal is to read at least 2 books a week and at least 60 books a year. I want it to be a year where I finish the series that I've already started. So I included a lot of series. I included some books that are similar to books that I've already read, because I kind of want to get back to my roots. I want to feel the emotions that I felt when I first started reading, because that's what I was missing this year, was like that connection to the books and that like absolute adoration for it. Recently, like the past week, I've been thinking on it, and I really just want that initial feeling you get when you first start reading and you love the books. So I included some books in here that are similar or rereads to books that I've already read. So I think we'll start with this pile first. I really don't know if I should go into depth on like what these books are about, because this video would be like an hour long, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit and edit that. You don't want to sit and watch it. So I'm going to try to briefly go over the books. Editing needed here. It's still an hour long, and I'm still going to sit here and edit it for you guys. You're welcome. The first books I have are a part of a series, Daisy Hates the Great Undoing and Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. These are the last two books, I believe, as of right now in the Magnolia Park series. I am not a fan of Magnolia Parks. I love Daisy. Magnolia, the Magnolia Parks books are not my favorite. I will say that. Just because I don't like the characters. I don't like BJ. I think that they are very childish. And I like the characters in Daisy Hates more. But I was left on a cliffhanger in the last Magnolia Parks books. So I want to finish the Magnolia Park series because the cliffhanger kind of like caught me off guard. And I want to know what happens. So that's why these are on my shelf, and also because they're a series I haven't finished, and I would like to finish the series that I have started already. If you don't know what Daisy Hates or Magnolia Parks are about, Gossip Girl in London in their 20s. And there's drama, and there's just like a lot, but if you like Gossip Girl, I think you would like this. I'm not saying that I don't like it, I just don't like the characters. I think they're very childish. The writing, though, is stunning. I love the writing. I think that the author, I think Jessa Hastings, has a beautiful way of writing things. I just think that the writing was wasted on these books so far. I think that her writing would do so well in maybe another series. I just don't like the characters. Like, I don't like BJ and I don't like Magnolia, and I think that that's why it feels like the writing is wasted on a love story that I don't like. But I do like the writing. So those are the first two books. The next book is the last book in a series that I started last year, and I just haven't been in the mood to get back into it, but I know that I want to finish the series because I want to start another similar series, and that is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is a cowboy fake dating, fake marriage, marriage of convenience story. I have been waiting to read Beau's story. I just have not been in the mood for a cowboy romance. That feels like a spring, summertime kind of thing, and it's currently winter. Like, there's snow on the ground, so I really just haven't been able to dig into it, but I've been waiting for his story, and I want to finish the series because I love the series. He was in the military, and then he got injured, so he had to go home, and everyone's kind of like doting on him because he was injured on a mission. So he ends up, I guess, striking up a deal with a bartender or a waitress. It sounds like an easy read, and I think that it would be nice to read like in the spring or summer. The next one is another series book. I feel like a lot of the books that are being published now are in series. There's like very few standalones out there. I feel like every book I read is a part of a series, whether it could be a standalone or not, and that kind of makes it difficult to be like, oh, read this book, because this is a part of a series, but you could also read them alone. The next book is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is the first book in the series. I read the second book thinking the second book was the first book, and I realized it about maybe halfway through that second book. I forget what it was called, but I'll put it on the screen right here. I read that book in the summer and fall, or maybe in the fall. I read it, and I didn't realize that this was the book you were supposed to read before it because they're a part of a series. You can read them as standalones. So I want to get to this book. I loved the other book. Kennedy Ryan is a new author to me, and I loved it. And it did take me a little while because I was like getting used to it, and the writing was like really small. Very small writing. And I am not a person who can read very small writing very well. It takes me a while. Either way, I loved that, and I would love to get into this. Honestly, I might pick this up soon. I feel like this would be a good book to read right now. It's about Yasmin, and her and Josiah just got divorced, and her kids also have autism. And the representation in the second book I really enjoyed, but I feel like there will be more representation in this book. It's basically a women's fiction, but the subplot is romance. I just really like the other books, so I have a feeling I'm gonna like this. And I could pick this up at literally any time. So, the next one is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is a summer read. Look at the spine. This is definitely something I need to read in the summer. I purchased it because Emily Henry really just like loves to publish her books as hardcovers first. So everyone who is okay with getting a hardcover got one, talked about it, said it was good, said it was bad, said their piece. The softcover finally came out, so I got it, but I didn't read it because I think I got it in the fall, and I just like, I know I have to read it in the summer. Emily Henry is a summer author for me. I think she has another book that just came out and is still a hardcover, so I'm waiting for the softcover to come out. Okay, so her fiance leaves her for his childhood best friend, and then she moves, and she has a job and a roommate, and the roommate is, I guess, a man, and thinks that she is either FBI or in witness protection. But it's all just for show, of course, because there's no way Daphne would actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex. So her ex-fiance, her fiance that left her for his childhood best friend. The childhood best friend was engaged. And now Daphne is with the man that the childhood best friend was engaged to. I'm assuming. That's what it sounds like. Sounds dramatic. Sounds like something I would enjoy. But this is definitely a summer read for me. So I'm going to hold off on this until summer. But I do want to get to this. Every time I read an Emily Henry book, I absolutely love it. Special mention, because I'm remembering it, People We Meet on Vacation comes out, and I am going to see it, but I might want to do a reread before I go and see it, because I just want to brush up. Maybe I'll do a reading vlog and a movie reaction video for that. I did that once before. It didn't work out, but I'm thinking maybe I could do like a reading vlog / movie reaction to People We Meet on Vacation, because that would be fun. My foot's falling asleep, which is not fun at all. It's always my right foot that falls asleep. It also, like, my hip ends up hurting. I think that I should just stop sitting on the floor. The next book, going back to the roots topic that we were talking about, how I wanted to go back to my roots and read books that were, or read either rereads or books that were similar to books I've already read and loved. Circe by Madeline Miller. This has been on my shelf for 2 or 3 years. I read The Song of Achilles. I loved it. And I also special mention, I think I want to reread that, but we're not including it in this video. But yes, Circe. I don't know what it's about. I know it's a Greek mythology retelling. I really, really, really enjoyed The Song of Achilles. I enjoyed the angle that Madeline Miller took for that book, and I really enjoyed her writing. It was so beautiful. And now that I have a good amount of reading experience under my belt, I feel like I could go into this and understand more. So I definitely want to pick this up this year. This seems like a summer read. I feel like I'm telling you all of the seasons. This feels like a summer read or like a vacation read. Like, it needs to be warm out. I don't know, Greek mythology, just like anything that has to do with Greek mythology just reminds me of like a warm summer day. So that's why I think this is going to be a summer read, but I am very excited to get to this because now that I've been reading for some time and understand more, I feel like this would be a very fun book to read this year. Staying on that same wavelength of books that are similar to stuff I've already read, King of Wrath by Anna Huang. My best friend Dulce has been begging me to read this series because she reads it. She's like, I think in the middle of it, or she finished it, I don't know, but she loves it. I have not read any books in this series. I read the Twisted series. I loved it. It was like one of those series where you read it and you're like, oh my god, I love it. That's what it felt like for me. So I want to read the King's of Sin series. Yes, this is the first book. I guess it's about Dante Russo and Vivian Lau. We've met Dante previously in Twisted Lies, I believe. It's about them, and I guess it's marriage of convenience kind of thing. But that's all I know. I could also pick this book up right now. Like, this is a book that I could see myself reading right this moment because of the vibe of the book. I feel like these books are very winter for me. It's like, I want to sit down in a cozy corner and read this. So, I might pick this up soon. The next book is a reread, Bittersweet Memories by Katharina Mora. I read this years and years and years ago. I read it in the summer, and I remember vividly. I was with my friend at her beach house, and I started it that day at work before I went to the beach house, and then I finished it the next day on a whale watch boat. And I literally was crying on the whale watch boat. It just holds a spot in my heart because I read it so quickly and I like literally devoured it. It was so good. So it's like a Catherine Pierce, Elena Gilbert situation, but instead of like the brother being nice like Stefan, the brother is like a dick. And the whole plot line is fucking crazy. Like, insane. I loved it. I did not see any of it coming. So I definitely want to get to this again. And the back is literally like maybe 4 sentences. I'm going to read it to you because it's 4 sentences. When her boyfriend breaks her heart, Alana goes after his older brother in a quest for revenge. It would have been simple if he wasn't also her new boss. As they work together, it soon becomes clear Silas knows more about her than he should. He knows about the past she's forgotten and the memories that evade her, but some secrets are better left buried. That gives you nothing. It gives you nothing. You know that she dated the brother, and now she's going after the older brother. Or like she's interested in the older brother. But it gives you absolutely no context on what the fuck happens in this book. I read it because I saw a TikTok like quote from it and immediately picked it up, and it did not disappoint. This is my favorite Katharina Mora book. I've read multiple. I think I've read like 6. This is my favorite. This is number 1. This is hands down, like, I remember this more than any of the other books. I'm so happy that I have a physical copy because I read it on Kindle and I got this as a gift last year for Christmas. Not 2025, but 2024. And I want to reread it. The next book, it's been on my shelf for a while. Everyone loves it. It always, like, everyone always talks about it. I see it all over TikTok no matter how much time goes by. I feel like I always see someone talking about it. And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. It's about a girl who makes a deal with the devil to live forever, but then, like, no one can remember her. So, like, she'll meet them and be like, oh my god, hi, and have a conversation, but as soon as they turn around, they forget who she is until there's one person who does remember who she is. And she's like, what? That's so weird. It sounds interesting. I've had it for way too long to not have read it, so that's why it's on my list. And this is something I feel like I can read in the winter as well. I feel like I could pick this up right now and enjoy it. I lied. Never mind. I said that too soon. The writing. It's so small. But I do want to read this nonetheless, even if the writing is really, really tiny. I want to read it. Similar, kind of going back to my roots, but also kind of not. I have never read this type of sports romance, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I have the new cover. I don't know what the old cover looked like. This is what they had at Barnes when I was like, okay, I'm gonna finally get it. It's cute, I guess. I don't know. But it's a football romance, and he is a football player, and she is his assistant. And then she quits, and then he's like, no, come back. Please, I need you. And she goes back, I guess. It's also a slow burn. I'm not very good with slow burns, unless it's a fantasy where it's like, you know, you have other shit going on, but I don't know what other shit they could have going on. They're average people. They are not fighting wars. They are not training like the Valkyrie. They are literally average people, but it's okay. I'm gonna read it because I want to know what the hype is about. I genuinely don't want to be left out anymore, so that's why I want to read this. The next one is a fantasy that I have heard a lot about, no clue what it's about, but it's on my shelf because I got it in one of my book of the month boxes. And I was like, okay, I mean, it sounds good. I'm gonna eventually read it, hopefully. But now I see a lot of people talking about it, and I want in. Like, a lot of the books that are, like, really popular, everyone, like, loves them, and I'm like, I want in. I want to know. I want to know what that's about. I want to be a part of that group. I want to talk to people about it. So that is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. The only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. Okay, so it's like a cursed manor, and Ophelia inherits her mother's magic and debt. And then her sister goes into Phantasma, which is like a haunted manor, and I guess it's like a game and you have to get out. Okay, that sounds interesting. It's also fantasy, and I feel like I've been getting more into fantasy, which is nice. So I don't know, I kind of want to read it. It's a thick book. It's thick. The next books, actually, fun fact, are Sarah J. Maas. It's 3 books. It's what I have currently of the series that I'm currently reading. Queen of Shadows, Tower of Dawn, and Empire of Storms. Queen of Shadows, you see how much I have left of it? Yeah, I was reading it, and then I didn't have Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, and you need to read those in a tandem read. So I stopped reading it at like 98% through. And now I just need to finish like literally 2 pages. And then I can get on to these so I can tandem read them. Also, this series, it started off okay. I read Assassin's Blade. I was like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Like, everyone loves it, but I'm like, indifferent. It did break my heart in the first book. I think that's why I was kind of salty to begin with, because I was like, why would you do that to me in the first book? But then I picked up the second book, or the official first book, because Assassin's Blade is technically novella. I picked up the official first book. I literally devoured it. It was so good. It was so good. And then I continued to devour the entire series. And now I have 3 books left, but I have these 2, and then there's one after it that I don't have yet, which is why it's not on this, because I buy my books in order of the series unless I just like feel like dropping a bag. I want to finish the entire series, but these are the ones that I have. So I did the math, I think. I picked 27 books. I want to read all 27 of these this year, but I'll talk about 26 of them. So we'll start with the only thriller that I have on this list, because it's the only one that's really been speaking to me, and every time I look at it I'm like, oh, I know, I have to get to you, I have to read you, don't you worry, I will get there. And that is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. It's just a murder mystery about a girl who, she lived in a house where everyone was murdered. She's the only one that survived, and she did not speak about it to anyone. But then she has like a aide come in, and she finally like talks to the aide about what happened. So yeah, that's what this is about, and I want to get into it. This is me putting a thriller on the list because I said I wanted variety, and none of the other thrillers on my shelf are currently speaking to me. So this is the only one as of right now that I am looking forward to reading, and I'm hoping it's good, because I read 1 or 2 last year and I didn't like it. Like, there was one, I read The Glass House. It was so boring. It was so boring, and I just like could not. So I'm hoping that this isn't bad, because I did not like The Glass House. The next book is, I'm sure you can see it. It's been staring at me for like 3 years, and I have not gotten to it because it scares me. Because everyone talks about the heartbreak and the pain that you feel when you read it, and that just scares me. They said that every sort of trauma is in this book, and every sort of like trigger warning that you could need is in this book. So that's why I haven't picked it up yet. Now, I feel kind of confident going into this book because, again, I've been reading for a while and I have a good amount of experience under my belt, and I know how to read more critically. And I also saw a video by, I forget what his name was, but there's a YouTuber that I watch, and he posted a video, and it was basically, you're reading this book wrong, and like talking about how you could read it better instead of reading it like the way that everyone else was reading it, like for the heartbreak and stuff like that. I think it was a video on like how to read it more critically, and I didn't watch the video fully, but I want to before I get into the book, because this is one of his favorite books and I like his opinions. So I think that watching his video will give me more information on how to properly read this book and get the most out of it. And that is a little like, it's not daunting because of the amount of pages, it's daunting because of whatever happens in this. I know nothing except for everyone talked about the heartbreak, everyone talked about how moving the story was, and I have not been brave enough to venture into this world, but I think that this year I am brave enough to venture into this world and I want to know what happens. So I'm going to read this book, but first I'm going to watch that video and maybe a couple more videos on how to read this properly to get the most out of the experience. I know that I don't know a whole lot about a lot of these books, but this is one of the books that I have seen like the most people talk about because of the amount of trauma, and I want to make sure that I am mindful when going into this because there are triggers. So I want to do my research before going into this, but I do want to try and venture into this world this year. The next are 3 books, a series. I think there's more books in this series. I've also been getting yelled at by Dulce to read this series as well. She is constantly yelling at me to read The Kings of Sin and to read The Inheritance Games. Honestly, I feel like this year I definitely want to tackle this, especially because I feel like this is a good series to read. I don't know. I know very little, like next to nothing about this series, except for a girl inherits a fortune from a man, and the man has grandkids who don't want her to inherit the money. But it sounds interesting, and I feel like it would be good to read between the months of October and February. I feel like that is when I should be tackling this, and that is like right now. So there's a couple books honestly on this list that I could pick up today and not be upset about it and probably like read and enjoy to the full extent. The Zodiac Academy series. I have the first 2 books. That's all I have on my shelf right now. And when I went to Barnes near me, like the closest Barnes, they only had the first 2 books. And I was like, okay, I'll grab them. I want to get into them this year. I heard it was heartbreaking. I also heard the first book was boring. So I don't know what it's about except for there's twins and they have powers and they go to a school. It's kind of giving me, what's it called? There's that book that reminds me of Twilight. It's about a vampire academy. Or not a vampire academy, but like it's kind of like Nevermore, but it's not Nevermore. Is it Crave? I don't know. I'll put it here. It like the cover reminds me of Twilight. And I read the first book on audio because it sounded interesting and the audio book was free, so I read it. But that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this. And Larry always posts videos, like when she reads the big fantasy series, she posts them and I will watch the spoiler videos, and those legitimately make me want to, I don't know why, because she like includes spoilers, but they make me want to read those series. So that's what happened when I read ACOTAR, was I watched her video and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'm gonna read it. And the same thing happened for this. I don't know why her spoiler videos make me want to read the books, but I do want to read these. I have the first 2 books and I'm definitely going to get to these this year. The whole series, hopefully, but definitely the first 2. The next series we have, another popular series that everyone loves, is the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I have the first 2 books. For some reason, I'm getting a vibe that it's similar to Binding 13, like that series, Boys of Tommen series. I haven't read that either. I do want to read that, but I haven't. And I don't know, I feel like this is giving similar vibes. I think they're in high school, or no, they're in college. This book talks about addiction. I don't know about this one, but I think it's, these 2 are the same couple. Either way, I want to read it. I want to read the whole series, but I want to get to these 2 books because I've had them for a year. And I kind of want to do a reading vlog for this whole series. So the series that I have now, Throne of Glass, I have a reading vlog for. Maybe I'll do one for Inheritance Games if you guys want that. And Zodiac, I want to do a reading vlog for, and then Addicted, I want to do a reading vlog for. I think reading vlogs for series are so much fun. I think they're so much fun. Mine are spoiler reading vlogs because you guys need to know everything that's going on in my head. Going back to books that make me feel that joy and spark again, that are similar to books that I have already read. The Dixon Rule and the Charlie Method. These are, it's not Off Campus, it's like the spin-off of Off Campus. Campus Diaries, that's what this series is. I read the Off Campus series. I loved it. I have every single book. And then there was the Briar U series. I think I read 2 or 3 books. I only have one of them, I think. And those aren't bad. They're not my favorite, but they're not bad. I want to read this series. I was buddy reading it with Sam, but I have these on my list. I have them on my shelf. And they keep looking at me, and I keep looking at them, and it's hockey season. And I just want to go back there. I want to go back to Briar U. I want to feel the feelings again. Maybe I want to read Off Campus again. I don't know, but I loved that series. And this is similar enough so that I'll feel like I'm reading something like Briar U or like Off Campus, but it's a new story. So I want to get to these 2. And then the last book we'll talk about, I have both of these here. I have The Way I Used to Be and All the Bright Places, but for this video we're going to talk about The Way I Used to Be because I bought this book maybe 2 years ago. It's a YA, but she was assaulted. It says it's told in 4 parts, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, and it reveals the deep cuts of trauma. It also demonstrates one young woman's strength as she navigates the disappointment and unbearable pains of adolescence, of first love and first heartbreak, of friendships broken and rebuilt, all while learning to embrace the power of survival she never knew she had hidden within her heart. It would be interesting to see how the author portrays the journey of healing after a traumatic event. And I definitely want to get into that. I think that I really have enjoyed previously seeing books that have a lot of mental health representation, and you get to see how the character grows, especially with traumatic events that happens. I don't know why. They are just so, like, they kind of hit home, but also they are so moving and so insightful. And I think that's why I want to get into this, is because it has the potential to be very insightful and very moving. So I definitely want to get into this. I also, with this book, haven't been brave enough to open it just because of where I was in my mental health journey. I didn't want to open it up when I wasn't in a good place mentally. And I think that's very important when you are going into reading books that have mental health representation or talk about trauma or talk about things that are a little bit heavy, like heavier topics. I think you should be very mindful of the mental state and your mental health before going into those books, because they could be triggering. They might not help you in the way that you want them to. And I think that that's very important when thinking about and going into books, that you should definitely think about your mental health and think about whether the book is going to benefit you or not. And then just for fun and just for a bonus little book, All the Bright Places by Jennifer Nixon. There's a movie. I haven't seen the movie. It looks really good. This is another book where I want to do like a reading vlog and then watching the movie and like movie reaction video. I think it could be interesting. I really want to watch the movie, but since I have the book, I want to read the book first. So I think that it would be fun to do like a reading vlog and then movie reaction with you guys on this book and on People We Meet on Vacation and on any other books, if you think that's a good kind of video idea. So I think that that could be very, very fun. But those are all of the 26 plus a couple extra little bonus books on my TBR right now. If you have any books that you think that I would enjoy or that you want me to read or any video ideas for 2026, be sure to leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, and you want to see more of me, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!